Welcome back. Today we are testing the new Roto Grip Idol Synergy. If you like what we do, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Don't forget to subscribe and check us out on Patreon. A big thank you to Jeff Miller and Ron Hoppy. Don't forget to check out Haley's Pro Shop in Burlington, Washington for world-class drilling and coaching. First impressions, the Idol Synergy is a pretty ball with a smooth benchmark-like ball reaction. Alright, so we get another ball in the Idol saga, this time in an E-Trax hybrid cover stock version. We've seen how often the Idol has been put to use on tour, the original one. We've also seen the Idol Pearl used significantly. It's a basic core design that is clearly effective and has a smooth shape. I personally found the Idol Pearl a bit more usable with a cleaner, more angular motion from the E-Trax Pearl over the original Idol. That stronger cover was very smooth with great pocket control, but I always had carry issues with it. So, the question is, does the Idol Synergy look more like one or the other? Well, yes and no. This one is a little more like a benchmark, so a little smoother than the Idol Pearl as you would expect, but more punchy than the silky Idol. I'll firstly apologize for the lack of posting shots as I had some physical issues here. Nevertheless, I tried several different lines, did find looks from many parts of the lane. I can float it out to the dry and it responded well for the most part, sometimes not. If I pulled the break point in, it was smooth and just sat and hit pretty well. But it felt like the cover could use some surface. It would take away some of that over-under that I saw. What I can say is this could be a very nice benchmark. It's a shape I really like watching going down the lane. I would like to touch it with some surface and see if it just smooths the edginess off a bit like we've done in the past. Alright, so here's Sean, and if you watch the recent videos with the Proton Physics and RSTX1, you'll see that the Idol Synergy is clearly less ball as expected. It's clean, a much simpler ball reaction as you would expect from a middle-of-the-road ball. Sean played it around the second arrow and even more direct. Pushing it into the friction to the outside seemed to soften the reaction up a little bit. So he tried pushing the break point in and it responded too hard. So he kind of had a look right in between. He tried to move in and he would see a good reaction and then not so good. I think the shape of this ball is very pretty, but a little surface will probably improve the over-under that we both saw. Alright, now Bryan takes his turn. The Idol Synergy was even a little trickier than what Sean and I saw for Bryan. Again, there's no denying the smooth benchmark look from the Synergy, but I'm not sure this ball syncs up here. For Bryan, this ball needs more friction and a stronger ball ultimately will be more effective for what we're bowling on. But this is a medium house shot. It just looks clean, but also not responsive enough down lane. When he tried to straighten it up, it over-responds. So, he had to play around with angles quite a bit. It's just too much work, I would say, but here we want to show you what the ball is about. So we spend some time to try to find a shot. So he does play around with the angles a bit. He tries to push it to the friction, and then it kind of quits. He had to move in, but also pull the break point in a bit. I think it was just a little bit of a struggle, and I'm not sure this one's just simply down to surface for Bryan. A quick look to compare with the Idol Pearl, and while the Idol Pearl is his light oil ball, it definitely has more punch down lane over the Idol Synergy. Final thoughts. So what do we have with the Roto Grip Idol Synergy? For Sean and I, this ball could fit in the mid-control category. That's where a typical benchmark ball would fit. I do think cracking the polish will be needed to see a more consistent reaction, and I may have to run another session with the surface change to validate that. That over-under just needs to be tamed. For Bryan's game, I think the Idol Pearl is just simply a better fit. Ultimately, each bowler has to decide what ball fits in their arsenal, and I'm here to arm you with as much information as possible to help you decide.